you guys, and welcome back to Lily Reads. You guys got my favorite books of the year, but where there is love, there has to be some hate, and it is time to talk about my least favorite books of the year. Now, here is the thing. There are plenty of books that I read that I'm just like, okay, what the hell ever, but then there are times where a book is so bad, I'm just like, what happened here? I have such a low tolerance for bad books in this day and age, especially bad books that I end up finishing. It's just like, why was this worth it? As I've gotten older, I am very good at knowing what I like. I'm a very decisive person. I know exactly what I want. So it is actually rare for me to read a book that's just like horrible, because more than likely I have vetted this book out and it should work for me. I should at least leave this book having a little bit of respect for everybody involved and being like, wasn't for me, but fair enough. That wasn't these books. All of these books, I genuinely don't understand how they made it to my face. And if they made it to my face, it means that they were recommended, that somebody told me that these books were good, and that is the damn problem. So the first thing I want to talk about is books that I do not own. Books that I read on audio that are horrible. And all three of these books fit into the genre of thriller, and they're just like, what the hell was this? I'm going to put all three of them on the screen, and we are going to talk about them very quickly. The first one we have is Peter Swanson. This is definitely one of my least favorite books of the year, because this book is absolutely nothing. We start this book off finding out that this woman has killed her husband. This woman has literally killed her husband. We start with the death of her husband. And so then we just go back in time trying to figure out what was the reason that she would kill her husband. But like, if the mystery has already been solved that this woman killed her husband, why the hell do I care? And as we're going back in time, you keep asking yourself, why does any of this matter? Why does any of this matter? It's all going to lead to her killing her husband. There's just no mystery here. And then Peter Swanson tries to goop and gag you one good time at the end, and it's not like, sometimes Peter Swanson is either just being lazy and he knows he's phoning it in, or Peter Swanson just thinks he's a tad too clever for his own good. So yeah, this was a 1-star horrible. Don't read it. Two Truths and a Lie. This book, I just don't understand why so many people recommended this book. This book was one of those books where when you got to the end of it, it was already so obvious what was going on. I'm not saying a thriller has to completely pull the rug from under me, completely shock me, but I do need a twist. I do need a twist. I do need to come to realize everything I thought was something was not as it seems. That's the very least that I want, and I get to decide as a reader if I think it was good or not. This doesn't have any of that. I remember listening to this and I'm like, did I fucking miss something? Did I literally miss? Like, this is a run-of-the-mill 2-star thriller. Like, it's just like, okay. And sometimes I wonder, do books like this become popular? It's kind of like the Colleen Hoover effect, or that McFadden lady, or whatever, you know, who made The Housemaid and stuff. Like, people don't read a lot of good thrillers, so they're easily impressed by mess. And like, that's what this was. Two Truths and like, it wasn't good. Like, it had a lot of elements going on that usually a good thriller has, but it didn't come together to actually be interesting. Like, the reason why this made the list is because I genuinely don't understand why so many people act like this book is good. And then the last thing we have is The Trap. This book is about this woman. It starts off so good. This book starts off so good. This book is about a woman trying to find the man that took her sister. So she's trying to lay a trap for this person who was out here taking people. And quickly it just becomes uninteresting. It becomes uninteresting. It becomes convoluted. And then when this book is trying to goop and gag you for the twist, it's genuinely too confusing. Like, I went on the internet to see, could anybody literally explain the ending of this down to fractions, and everybody seemed just as confused as me. Even the people who swore they knew what they was talking about, they also seemed confused, because every single scenario that this book is discussing, how this ending is, I can poke holes in it, how like it doesn't work. So this one just doesn't make any sense, and I think the author is trying to do too much. I do think the cover is beautiful. That's why I wanted to like this book, because I wanted to physically buy this book because I like the cover, and every time I see it at the bookstore, I like it. But it just had too much going on for such a good premise. Such a good premise that just completely fell apart. So this goes in thrillers that I want nothing to do with. The next thing we have is books that were in the Lily Reads book club. The worst book that we read in the Lily Reads book club was Second Tides the Charm. This is about two people who are exes who end up being back together. They're gonna run a YouTube channel together where they like look at sharks. It's a YouTube channel about sharks, whatever. This book was so boring. Boring romances. I can't do boring romances. I think in 2024, I read so many boring romances that in 2025, I tried to steer clear of romance except for the Lily Reads book club. But baby, I don't always pick the best ones, and this was absolutely horrible. I remember having to microdose this book. I remember having to tell myself, Kenya, read 6 pages. Read 6 pages and you can go do something else. And then I would come back and read 6 more. It shouldn't have to be like this. This book was, I got a headache reading this book because this book was so damn bad. So I did not like this book. The next book that I did not like is Green Dot by Madeline Gray. I don't remember a lot about this book, but I do remember that we are in Ireland, Australia. See, I don't even remember where the hell we are. Sweden. We are somewhere, and this woman works at this office job that she just got because she is shiftless as hell. She lives with her daddy. She don't got a job. She's already graduated from all the schooling that she can graduate from. So she finally decides to get a job, and instead of going to work and being a normal human being, she decides to have an affair with somebody down at her job who has a whole goddamn family that he claims he's going to leave, and you are just following her as she is doing all of this stuff. That kind of sounds good, doesn't it? That kind of sounds messy, fun, juicy, great. It's not. It is simply not. The main character in this book is so annoying, and not even annoying and like she's having an affair with a married man and she's shiftless. No, it's not annoying because she's just like unlikable. I can deal with an unlikable main character. I'm grown. No, she is just grating. And then this book is filled with pop culture references, and I am kind of at the point where like, unless your pop culture references are like astute and clever and they really hit something on the head, I don't want them. I simply do not want them. You don't need to bring up Beyonce to me. Love her so much, but I don't need it in my books. You do not have to bring up Taylor Swift to me just because Taylor Swift is the moment. I don't want any of it. This book was so bad. And also this book is horribly written. Number one, the way that this book is formatted, this book is like formatted in such an odd way that makes it like really hard to read. It needed to be edited more. And then the prose is weak. I just hated everything about this book. And if I was actually ranking these, like tier ranking just how much I dislike these books, this would probably be at number 1. If it's not number 1, it is literally number 2. I genuinely dislike this book. I was so happy when I went over on Goodreads and saw that people hated this book just as much as I did. This book is horrible. The next book that is on this list is We Solve Murders by Richard Osman. Now, every year there is a book that everybody loves that I simply do not like, and that is this book, and it's the next book we're going to talk about, but that is this book right here. We Solve Murders is about a band of misfits. You have a father-in-law, you have this woman who's like a FBI agent or fucking something, and then you have this like actress. They are all trying to solve a murder because there's this guy using ChatGPT who is out here trying to kill people, and there's a body that washes up in the middle of the ocean, and our actress thinks she might get framed for something. It's a whole convoluted thing, but you guys, this book is so poorly written. This book is one of those books, number one, that is 100% written to get a TV show. There are so many characters that start showing up in this book, and you are just knowing that this person wants a screenplay, and they want all the most famous people in the world to be in whatever movie or limited series they are going to make about this book, and you can tell. But number two, none of the characters are interesting. The thing that annoyed me the fucking most about this book, so that little FBI agent, CIA woman, she might not even be all of those things. It's just she has like unexplained powers. Like she's able to get out of fucking anything. So you're wondering, she's like a security guard. That's what she is. And it's just like, how are you able to do all of this stuff? Anyways, so she has a husband, obviously, because she's working with her father-in-law, who used to be a detective. She's working with him to solve this murder. You guys, she don't give a damn about her husband. She is having more conversations with her father-in-law than she is about her husband. Every like maybe 50, 60 pages, she says something about her husband. Her husband will call her phone and she'll just be like, hello. And then like the book will explain to us that like they just don't like hanging out with each other very much. And it's just like, okay, but you hang out with his dad? It doesn't make any sense. And then all the characters are paid by numbers. You have the father-in-law who is so soft and so loving, but you know, he's about his business and he's so smart. And then you have this woman who, you know, she's a girl boss and she's able to dodge bullets. And then you have the actress who is all sexed up and she's a MILF. And it's just so silly. And this book has so many damn characters in it. When the whodunit came, I said, now who the fuck is that? Who the hell is that? I had to go back to see who the hell was the whodunit, because we've been introduced to so many characters. And the thing is, so many reveals happen in the book that I'm just like, I don't know what's the big reveal. It was too much. I can't wait to get this book out of my home. The next book is Something in the Water. This is another book that came out a long time ago and has been on my bookshelf for a long time, and maybe that should have been a sign I just should have unhauled it. But I remember when this book came out, this book getting pretty good reviews. So I was just like, it's a thriller, I'm in. So in this book, we are following this couple who have just gotten married. One day they're on a boat. They find something in the water. When they find something in the water, they realize that something in the water might lead to their demise and they might get killed, and everybody wants that thing that is in the water. So we got to figure out what the hell is going on. This is a tech thriller. I don't do tech thrillers. I do not do thrillers where like there's a bigger piece. That's kind of like with We Solve Murders. I don't do thriller mysteries where there's just like this big entity that's involved in everything that is going on. I like my thriller mysteries to be very, very grounded. And this book like basically became this like techie type of story about these people. And I just did not like it. I genuinely hate this book. And I really don't have anything more to say. I just want to tell you that I did not like Something in the Water. The way that it ended was silly. I just don't understand how this book got so much love when this book came out, because I deeply did not enjoy anything about this book, and the mystery was stupid. Like, I do you guys understand what I'm saying when I mean like a tech thriller? Like, it's kind of like when somebody's like child goes missing in a thriller, and then all of a sudden there's these like big head honchos who are stealing children in order to get like the ransoms and all. I don't like that. I don't like when the whodunit in a mystery book is just like this entity that like doesn't really exist in real life, and it's just like, I don't like it. It leans too science fiction for me, and that's what kind of happened with this book. And I'm just like, I don't give a shit. So to follow this book for 300 pages and the whodunit just ends up being that, I did not like it. I meant to tell you guys about the next book that I did not like that's really, really popular, The Wedding People. Yeah, I said it. The Wedding People, which is one of the first books I read this year, is one of my least favorite books of the year. If I don't say nothing negative about any book, no, I hate this one. No, I hate this one. I hated the main character of this book. So every now and then, there is a book that y'all love, and I'm just like, I should like it too. So much so that not only did I buy this book on my Kindle, I read it physically on my Kindle. I guess, is it physical if it's on your Kindle? I read it on my Kindle. I read it with my eyes on my Kindle. I was going to get it in Book of the Month because I was so sure that I was going to love this book. I was just like, there's no reason why I should dislike this book, because this book was nominated for like best books of the year on Book of the Month. It's a whole damn thing. And so I'm like, I'm going to read this on my Kindle. I'm going to love it. I have a whole blog about how much I hate this book. If I could give you the synopsis really quick, this woman ends up going to a town. She's going to kill herself because of things, because her husband is like cheating on her or something. She can't have a baby or something like that. So she takes a bunch of cat tranquilizers. She is going to go down to wherever island, and she is going to take all of these pills, and she is going to kill herself. Obviously, that's not going to happen because we are reading a book. There is a wedding going on at the same place that she is going to kill herself. She did not know. And the bride of this wedding party, she sees that she is about to kill herself, and the bride is like, no, you cannot kill yourself on my wedding. I am going to take you under my wing. And that is how our main character becomes a part of this like wedding party. What if I told you, spoiler alert, she ends up with the groom? What if I told you, spoiler alert, she ends up with the groom? I do not mind a little bit of cheating. I do not mind. This actually should be right up my alley. But everything about it is just so stupid. Her going to kill herself with the cat meds, just so stupid. And this book does this thing that I deeply hate in books where like it tries to paint another character as like stupid and silly. So like we don't really care about how they end up in the end. So our main character would always talk about how stupid and dumb the bride was. The bride was always doing something stupid because you gotta understand, we gotta want her to be with the groom. She's gonna end up with the groom, you guys. So we gotta want her to be with the groom. So they paint the bride as stupid and stuff. But in order for me to follow y'all on the bride is so stupid and our main character is so smart, I have to get it out of my head that this grown ass woman thought she could kill herself with cat medications. When a book tries to paint, like especially romance book, tries to paint the main character as like whimsy and fun, like, oh, I'm a cat person and I'm gonna kill myself, but with cat meds, that's so whimsy, that's so fun. But also I'm so fucking smart and I'm looking down on this bride who clearly has her life more together than me. It's just also silly. And then the book didn't trust itself that it had enough to make our main character and the groom be together, like you would root for that. So they throw somebody else in the story that like the bride can be with as well. That's also fucking stupid. The main character, I did not believe the romance between the groom and the bride. I'm just like, so you wanted to kill yourself, but now you don't want to kill yourself because you with this lady husband? Because you with this lady husband? This book didn't change anything in me that would make me believe that this woman's life is any better than it was. It's worse, because what if he decided to leave her? What if are we gonna be right back here, the wedding people part 2? Like what are you telling me in this? Like it's pathetic. It's pathetic that in order to get a have a fun life, she has to go live somebody else's. She has to go live somebody else's life, who we're being told is a horrible human being, or they didn't paint the bride out to be horrible. They painted her out to be vapid and silly. I just didn't like it. I just did not like this book. Nothing about it. The main character, pathetic. I do not do, this is another reason why I had to let romance books go in 2025. These like white women, pathetic main characters, I can't do it. And like love is the only thing that's going to change like their outlook on life, and love is going to make them less pathetic than they are. I cannot do it. I don't believe in the sentiment. It does nothing for me. And that was The Wedding People. 0 out of 5 stars. I hated this book. Like, it made me mad. This book go watch the vlog. Go watch the vlog where I read this book and you are going to see I like it. The next book I want to come in to talk about is a book called Must I Go? The answer is fucking yes. Get me the hell out of here. So in this book, you are following a woman who is like a widow 3 times over. She has a gang of kids. She has some grandkids and she is in some like creative writing class. I kind of think every time I talk about this book, I'm making up the creative writing class thing, because this book is so boring. I can't even remember what happened. It doesn't matter. All we know is she had a former lover who kind of ended up being famous, and he has kind of written about his life and people have written about his life, but she is kind of forgotten. She is kind of forgotten, and she knows the real story of this great and powerful man. So she finds his diary and she decides to go through his diary, and she is going to tell us the real story about this man and also give us backstory on like her life. Now, I will start by saying something good. When we are in the like backstory of her life and her kids, it's not that bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. You can follow along. You're just like, okay, I'm in this story. But when we are talking about everything that happened with her former lover who clearly wanted nothing to do with her, it is so boring. This book is so damn boring. This is another book that had to be popular. That's how I got my hands on it. But for the life of me, I do not remember buying this book. I pretty much remember when I bought every single book on my humongous bookshelf. I don't remember how I got my hands on this book. So it's even more annoying that I hated this book, because it's just like, why was it here? This book is so boring, you guys. Go look at the reviews down on Goodreads. Go to the 2s and 1s, and that's exactly how I feel about this book. This book is so boring. But the thing I hated the most about this book is that like, we know that this woman has been married 3 times. We know that she has a lover who was very famous and respected, and we know she has grandchildren, and we know that she has daughters. But she is constantly giving us advice and giving us tips and giving us words of wisdom that are not earned. So when a book starts, usually, and somebody is trying to tell you about life, usually there is something in the book that makes you trust this main character. This main character tells you stories about themselves where you start to trust their insights, that they know stuff. So when you're reading it, you're not rolling your eyes when they're trying to give you life advice. There is zero reason why we should think that this woman knows anything about life, except for the fact that she's been married a bunch of times and had a lover who literally forgot about her and never talked about her. So when she's giving you insights about life, you're just like, why the fuck should I listen to you? Like, who are you? That's what this book felt like. This book constantly felt like, why the hell am I here? Like, what is the point of any of this story? This book would also get 0 out of 5 stars if I was giving out stars. It was horrible. The next book is a book I never talked about. You probably don't even know that I read this book if you do not follow me on Goodreads, because this book, number one, I did not read it in a blog, and then it came during like a whole like wrap up of the entire like quarter. So I was talking about all the books that I read the past 3 months, and this book was not enough for me to come and like ever talk to you about it. So you don't know that I read this book and deeply disliked this book, and that is The Favorites by Lane Fargo. I deeply disliked this book. Now, some of you guys are going to be like, Kenya, you should have read it on audio. Oh boy, did I. I was playing The Sims and I read this on audio. And I will tell you, at the beginning, I was in it. In the beginning, I was in it. We were figure skating. We had all types of people giving commentary on everything that happened. I'm going to quickly tell you what this book is about. We are following this girl who comes from poverty. She has a best friend growing up. They are kind of lovers. They both end up in the figure skating world, and stuff keeps happening to them in the figure skating world, but we keep being told that there was this big event. There was this big event that happened that changed the course of both of their lives, and we are working up to this big event. So we are following them throughout their entire figure skating career up into this event, and then post this event, what happens. But at the root of this is like a love story between these two people anyways, and it's told in like a going back in time sort of way, but like clear, like people are coming in and being like, yeah, that was crazy. Oh yeah, I remember that. It's told in that type of way. So that's why you should read it on audio, because like they have different people doing the voices of like people giving commentary, and the commentary is from people like in the figure skating world. Stay with me. This book sucks. I do not know why so many people like rant and rave about this book. It's so funny. In my favorite books of the year, I was talking about, I want contemporary fiction. I want contemporary fiction. Then I read some like popular contemporary fiction and I fucking hate it. What did I hate the most about this book? These characters were so flat. I'm a character girl. These characters were so flat. This is another book made for TV. This is a made for TV book. You are supposed to read this book. Some screenplay writer is supposed to read this book. It was like, oh, I'm going to sell it to HBO. I'm going to write a screenplay on this book and I'm going to sell it to HBO. This book is filled with so many characters, but like there's nothing fluffy about them. They're so flat, and so you can project anything onto them, and it felt like we were just following next thing happened, next thing happened, next thing happened, but there wasn't an entire world being built around them. I'm being told in the book that this is important, something important is happening. That's what the book is literally telling me. From the commentary from all the people, they're telling me this matters so much. Everybody was so shocked, and it's almost like even the book didn't trust that we were on board with it because the characters were so flat. I don't know how you leave this book giving a damn about what happened to anybody in this book. Once I was done with this book, I did not think about this book again. I think this book is poorly done. I think the reason why this book is made and written the way it is nefarious, and I just think it sucks. And the fact that so many people rant and rave about this book, I don't get it. I simply do not get it. I don't believe the love story. I also don't believe the figure skating stuff. And this is not me saying that Lane Fargo don't know nothing about figure skating. I just found all of it to be silly. I just found it all to be silly. Even the stuff that does happen seems rather convenient. I hated it. I deeply disliked it. If I was giving out a star ranking, that would get a 1. That would get a 1. But my worst book of the year, believe it or not, The Wedding People is one of my worst books of the year. I'm going to put this book right next to The Wedding People. And that goes to, I was a teenage slasher. I never want to read another Stephen Graham Jones book again. It is so funny. I often say that when it comes to horror and thriller authors, there is a lot of misogyny in that realm. And I'm not talking about the authors. The authors actually haven't done anything except piss me off. The authors are not the misogyny, it's the people who read them. It is so interesting to me that if Riley Sager was a woman, he would not get away with the slop that he puts out. If Stephen Graham Jones was a woman, people would not give Stephen Graham Jones the grace that they constantly give Stephen Graham Jones. Whenever I see people review Stephen Graham Jones' book, there is so much grace given to him. There is just this idea that Stephen Graham Jones is just significantly smarter than the rest of us, and we just don't get it. The reason why we don't like Stephen Graham Jones' book is that he is just operating on a level that is just way higher than our simple brains. But once again, if Stephen Graham Jones was a woman, y'all would call a buck and say that this isn't good. This is not a good book. This is not something that most people would enjoy. I see how harsh many of the people who review Stephen Graham Jones and like him, I see how harsh they are on women writers, especially in the thriller and horror lane. I see how harsh they are. But when Stephen Graham Jones puts out another fucking dud, when Riley Sager puts out another fucking dud, there's all types of excuses. I know y'all not gonna like this one. I just think y'all don't get it. And I just think a lot of you are just misogynists. There's just this idea that men who write books, especially in like genres that are not respected, when they write books, that we all should just be like, oh, they're just doing something that you just don't get. This book sucks, you guys. This book sucks through and through. So I was a teenage slasher, I guess. I already knew with this title, it was full of shit. Like, you already knew the okie doke was afoot. He was not actually gonna be a fucking teenage slasher. This book is about, like, being haunted. This book is about your body being taken over by a spirit. This book is about two friends on a fucking road trip. This book is about some mean people in damn high school. That's all this book simply is about. And the premise has nothing to do with anything. If you came to see a teenage slasher, you're not gonna get it. If you came to read a good book, you are not going to get it. If you came to see people die, you are going to get it, but most of it's going to come off page. Most of it is going to be off page and useless. Stephen Graham Jones is also not good at writing action scenes. This is my second Stephen Graham Jones book. My Heart is a Chainsaw, I actually did not dislike. But even in that book, he was really bad at writing action scenes. But Stephen Graham Jones gets a pass for the fact that he cannot write an action scene that is coherent to the eyes. Okay, whatever. Another thing, I get it. Y'all like it when Stephen Graham Jones shows you he is the king of horror next to Stephen King. Y'all love it when he talks about all his little dad references, when he talks about all the music of yesteryears, when he talks about all the movies. But I read My Heart is a Chainsaw, which is a book that is filled with movie references. Like, that's the point of the book. We are following a girl who is like obsessed with like horror and thriller movies. And so I already had that gimmick. You gotta come with another one. I've already seen that gimmick. So in this book where we are getting a bunch of references constantly thrown at us, it's like, what did Stephen Graham Jones had to prove? Did one of y'all say Stephen Graham Jones wasn't a pop culture enthusiast? Did one of you guys say that and he has to show in every single book that he knows what the fuck he is talking about? That's what fills up most of this book. This book is pretentious to the point of stupidity. Like, it's just like, what's going? It's not good. It is not good. Do not believe anybody who tells you it is good. They are just a Stephen Graham Jones fangirl or fanboy. They do not. If anybody else wrote this book, I said it about Riley Sager, and I say it about Stephen Graham Jones. If anybody else was writing these books, the people who go up for them would not go up for them. I want you to remove the name from it and just take this as it. Actually, I want you to remove the name and put Alice Feeney on it. I want you to remove the name and put Ruth Ware on it. I don't know no horror authors because I don't read horror, but I want you to put any woman horror author who you guys give the blues and then tell me this is good. I have seen people who love this book give books that I just think are objectively good, piss poor reviews, but this is 5 stars. This is 5 stars. Knock it off. No, I literally think it's misogyny, and I'm not going to stop. Until y'all stop saying Riley Sager books are good and Stephen Graham Jones books are inherent, I'm not going to stop. You would not do this for a woman. You would not. Let's call it out. Anyways, those are my worst books of the year. You can see I'm mad. Those are my worst books of the year. Stephen Graham, I get it. I get what Stephen Graham Jones means to so many of you guys, but baby, he gonna have to write a book that I want to read. Mind you, I'm actually kind of full of shit. My Heart is a Chainsaw was not even that bad. It's literally on my bookshelf somewhere. It's out. Yeah, it's, y'all can't see, but it's right there. Y'all can't see it. But I thought My Heart is a Chainsaw was fine. But it was fine, and that was it. That was fine. It was fine, and that was it. And I've seen so many other Stephen Graham Jones books that other people just say are simply not good. But here we go. We all just gotta lie and say that Stephen Graham Jones books are good, or we just don't get it. Well, whatever. I just don't want to get it then. I will talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.